Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla, and all the dear participants, a very good morning to you all. I, Professor Preeti Mahajan, on behalf of the Department of Library Information Science, Panjab University, Chandigarh, and on my own behalf, welcome you all in the third webinar in the new series of webinars entitled PQ DLIS Webinar Series. The current series are being organized to reach out to the LIS students, research scholars, and the professional colleagues to enhance their professional knowledge and update them in their field. I now take this opportunity to introduce the speaker of the webinar today. We have amongst us our proud alumnus, Mr. Prem, Librarian, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla. Prior to joining Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, he has also worked at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Administrative Academy, Missouri, and Influence Center. He is currently holding additional charge of Secretary, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies. At the Influence Center, he was the project coordinator of National Library Information Services Infrastructure for Scholarly Content, that is NLIST program, as well as UGC Infonet Digital Library Consortium. As the group leader of the Database Maintenance and Development Group of Influence Center, he built online union catalogs of different types of materials, including books, theses, serials, etc., of academic libraries in India. It also helped in designing and development of software for university libraries, that is SOL. He has provided on-site training to many library professionals of university and college libraries. At the Institute of Advanced Studies, he has been instrumental in automation and networking of Indian Institute of Advanced Study Library and has redesigned the library website of the institute. His areas of specialization include consortium, library automation and networking, database management system, bibliographic format and standards, e-resources, etc. He has received Commonwealth Professional Fellowship as well as Satkal Young Librarian Award. He has edited 12 conference proceedings, plus many book chapters and articles have been written by him. He has successfully completed projects of CSIR, WHO, etc. He is a member of various professional bodies, including Chairman of Visitorship Program at Influence Center, Expert Committee of UGC, etc. Today, Mr. Premchand would be speaking on access to e-content to higher education institutions in India, an initiative of MHRD and UGC. Without taking much time, I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Premchand, please. Mr. Premchand.
At the outset, Madam, let me thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. And I remember you requested me long back to speak on these issues, but I was not well at that point of time. So thank you very much. As you already mentioned that I am alumni of the university. I am honored, and I'm privileged to be amongst us today and sharing my expertise in the field of e-learning and e-content creation and an initiative of MHRD and UGC. I also thank all your colleagues in your department, especially Rupak ji and all the colleagues. And as I said, you have tremendous energy to organize series of the webinars during this COVID period. So let me share my slide before I speak. So I have 1.5 hours, 11:30, 11 to 12:30, right, ma'am?
Yes.
No?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much. So, in fact, I will be talking about, there are three components of my talk. One is higher education system in our country, the growth of higher education system and challenges of the higher education system in the country. Second part of my talk is on e-content. E-content in the form of e-resources and e-book. and development and advances of the e-content, how scholarly communication app transform the library services, leading from print to and then later on consortium-based subscription.
I'm sorry. Yes, I was about to say the screen has not been shared. It's done now. Thank you.
And then third part of the mic talk will be on in various initiative of the MHRD and UGC in the areas of the access to e-resources and content creation and dissemination. As we all know nowadays that we are moving from print to digital. So UGC and MHRD has given thrust and given main focus to the e-learning programs, especially in the form of the MOOCs, which has become very popular these days. So this under the e-content heading, I will be sharing about the services of Internet, which is about e-Short Sindhu, is consortium of the University Grants Commission, and analysis the access to the colleges, all kind of the e-resources which is given to the college community in India under the Endless program, and EPG Parshala is the content creation part which Internet has taken, and showed Shuddhi. So they have used all e-Short Sindhu, e-Short Shuddhi, e-Short Ganga, e-Short Gangotri, and besides the database creation of the Internet, which was their main mandate when it was established. And MHRD has come up with a big debate. They have given thrust to the digital technology for creation of the content in our country. So if you see the higher education system in our country, I have categorized this into the three different headings. One is ancient period, second is medieval period, and third is a modern education system before or after independence. So in ancient period of the higher education system in our country, there was a Gurukul kind of education system was prevalent in country. And early Gurukul system of the education flourished in the Vedic period and Upanishad period. But the major focus of the education system during that period was on the religion and philosophy. Huge universities were set up, and these universities, Takshashila, Nalanda, and Bikramshila, was a very popular universities. People from all across the world used to come for teaching in these universities and teaching and learning in these universities. As we all know, this Nalanda University, which was one of the best universities in the world, was burnt by Bakhtiyar Khilji, Mughal ruler, and historian. The library of the university, and historians say that it took almost 6 months to get it burnt. The kind of resources that library had at that point of time, it's unbelievable. So we have lost the rich knowledge of the Indian society and Indian culture during when this library was burnt. And medieval period of the higher education system, where madrasa system was followed, where religion was given the thrust area of the education, and major smaller cities in our country, like cities in Delhi, Agra, Lucknow, they have developed as education centers during that point of time. But it couldn't, they failed to spread the education system because of the method of education was theology, and it was not very popular at that point of time. And third part is during British period. So first, before independence, India had 3 universities was established in 1857 in these 3 major cities. University of Madras, University of Mumbai, and University of Calcutta was established. So thereafter, they have established large number of the universities in major cities in our country. I have listed out the Lucknow University, Dhaka University, Aligarh, Nagpur, Andhra, the era of establishment of these universities. Now, if you see the kind of education system which we have in our country today, it is one of the largest education systems in the world. In terms of the enrollment of the students in the university, China stands number 1, and we are just behind China in terms of the number of students in the university system. At the time of independence in 1947, India had only 20 universities and 500 colleges. But today we have more than 900 universities in the country, 40,000 plus colleges, and crores of students who are enrolled in the university system. This spread of the education system and establishment of the university system in our country, especially established, mainly, they have opened to the private universities were allowed in 90s. After that, large number of private partners, private universities were established. It has helped the university in UGC and MHRD to increase the GER ratio of the university system in our country. If you see that when Knowledge Network Commission has submitted this report, they have recommended that India still requires 1,500 universities in the country to cater to the India's kind of population which we have in our country. And we have, we have large number of the population in the world. Always we compete with China, and in every sphere of life, we always compete with China. And in terms of in education field, in terms of population, in terms of scholarly publications and contribution of Indian scholars in the world communication, and we always follow China. But in case I have just studied certain statistics, work out certain statistics where we stand when we compare with China and India. China is always number one in every aspect, whether it's number of publications, number of universities, number of colleges in the country. So the government of India has given much emphasis to enhance the GER ratio in the country, and recently new education policy was approved by the cabinet, and which has a lot of features to increase the enrollment ratio in our universities in the country. This statistics last line of my paragraph says, with 30.5 million students currently enrolled in our country, India is second largest after China, which has 41.8 million students enrolled in the university system. So this slide gives you the details about the number of institutions in the country, number of faculty in the country, number of students in the country. So if we talk about higher education system in the country, we have university system, which is central university, can be categorized into deemed universities, state universities, and private universities. Altogether, we have around 53,000 university institutions in our country, and there are 14 lakh teachers, and we have 3.50 crore students who are enrolled in this university. And education institution-wise, if you see number 2 table, and in universities, we have 993 universities in our country, and 41,901 colleges, and standalone institution, which is basically neither they are being regulated by UGC or MHRD, they have independent institutions. Number of such kind of institutions in our country is around 10,726. When it comes to the number of faculty who are engaged in teaching in these universities, and first category under this is number of professors, teachers in our country. In university system there are 1.58 lakhs teachers in these universities who are engaged in teaching and learning. And in colleges, there are 10.9 lakh teachers who are engaged in teaching in the colleges. And in standalone institutions, 1.47 lakh teachers are engaged. So what are the number of students in these universities who are enrolled for higher education, higher educations? And in universities, there are 69 lakh students, which is quite a huge number despite number of constraints. In colleges, there are 2.60 crore students, and in standalone institutions, there are 20.23 lakh students. But this is overall scenario of the higher education system, which indicates about number of faculties, number of institutions, number of students. And it seems that with the statistics, we can see that India is one of the largest education system in the world. So if we have many challenges, many challenges in our country to reach the GRE ratio of the 50%. Recently, in the National Education Policy, they have announced that India has set a target to reach GRE ratio of 50 by 2035. And in secondary education, they have decided that by 2035 it should be 100%. GRE ratio is basically about enrollment ratio of the students from 18 years of age to 23 years of age. Basically, they are in higher education system. But if you see the global GRE ratio, India's just percentage is not very encouraging. Despite having such a large number of universities, despite massive expansion during last 2 decades of time, and it still requires a lot of things to be done so that we can reach 100% enrollment in university system in our country. Some of the challenges which I listed as our GER ratios, we have at present our GER ratio is 25.2, which is not considered as encouraging as good as compared to China has reached 50% of GER ratio. 50% is considered as a elite group of the country where almost everyone is educated. Second problem which higher education institutions are facing is number of faculties and shortage of faculty in the universities and colleges. And I'll show the statistics of the number of faculties, number of seats which are vacant in the universities and colleges in our country, which were recently shared by our honorable minister in the parliament. And it states this, it indicates that and it is not very encouraging. That kind of the vacancy which is vacant in the universities is very, very discouraging. So accreditation, which NAC is the agency who is responsible for accreditation of the institution in our country. The NAC has recently submitted a report in 2010, which says that 25% of the total higher education institutions in our country, they never get accredited. And those who get accredited, only 30% of the universities and 45% of the colleges are found under A+ category. So you can see, we don't have 50% of university institutions in the country who comes under the bracket of the A category accredited by NAC, which is one of the IUC of the University Grants Commission. And similarly, the research, the research output is from our country now. There is slight increase in terms of the contribution by Indian academia in scholarly journal. But the grant allocation for research in our country is not very, it's not satisfactory, as I said, because we spend 0.6% to 0.7% in India for research in various labs. Compared to other countries like USA, they spend 2.8%, and China spends 2.1%, and Israel spends 4.3%, and Korea spends 4.2%. So these are some of the issues which I have categorized as the challenges of higher education system in our country. And shortage of faculty in the universities, that ministry recently has announced in the parliament that in university system at present there are 1,77,235 sanctioned teaching posts and 3,69,587 sanctioned non-teaching posts in various universities in the country. Out of that, 32,581 faculty posts are lying vacant, representing 18.4% of total sanctioned strength. As per UGC norms, you all know that vacant teaching posts should not overcome 10% of the sanctioned strength at any time. Same as the state of the state universities in the country, around 28% of faculty positions are lying vacant in these universities. So including those IITs and NITs who are considered a premier institution in the country, there are also the number of faculties are less, seats are vacant. In IIT, there are 2,813 faculty positions which are lying vacant, and 3,280 to 3,211 posts in NITs are lying vacant. So you see all sectors of the, whether it's an engineering institution, whether it's state universities or whether it's central universities, the number of seats are lying vacant, and unless until we fill up these posts, the student-teacher ratio is again a big question mark. And because of all these, when seats are not filled up, the ratio is it's below par of global standard. So in order to address all these issues, the government of India has recently announced National Education Policy 2022-2020, which has certain good features. And this policy has been revised after previous policy was announced in 1992. Basically, this policy was framed and announced in 1996, and it was amended in 1992. All these national policies of three various commissions, education policy is being governed under these three policies. The policy of the development of higher education has been mainly governed by these policies. policy of 1986 and its programs, which was framed during that period of time. And the 1986 policy and action plan of 1992 were based on the two landmark reports, namely University Education Commission report of popularly known as Radhakrishnan Commission, and later on there was another commission called Kothari Commission. So three commissions were based on these three commissions, the entire higher education policy is being governed in our country. The present policy of the national education policy, which was recently declared, I showed 2 or 3 slides of the major issues which I thought of sharing with you. Is about one is GRE and other is now they have agreed that regional languages and multilingualism should be given importance. So this education policy, which was announced recently, it says that more higher education institutions will use now mother tongues and local languages as a medium of instruction and offer programs bilingually. So this perhaps give some kind of boost and change in the. Generally, people consider that the young mind and at the young age you are very creative and you can develop the scientific temper, scientific aptitude, and if you do that at the early age in their own mother language tongue, so probably the skill will be in us when student goes in college and university at the later stage of time. So another important issue which they have addressed is about 4-year programs. Now, it was not like earlier. Once you are exit from the college or university, you are not eligible for the degree or diploma. Now this policy has addressed this issue and now have announced that undergraduate program will be from 3 to 4 years. So there's a flexibility of exiting after doing even 1 year of your degree program. You can get this. If you do that in 1 year program, you will get a certificate. And second year you will get advanced diploma, and third year you will get degree, and fourth year you will be based with the research. So this is a new concept which they have introduced in the new education policy in our country. As I said, the GER one issue in this country, one of the largest populated country in the world, and in order to address this GER ratio, GER is a formula where enrollment of the young students in the university and colleges is a major boost if you can achieve this of GRE of the 50% by 2035. So this is a brief about higher education scenario in our country. And we can imagine that the kind of system which we have in our country is very difficult to address. We have multilingual, we have different religion, we have different castes. So equity and affordability is the two concepts where UGC's all the programs are generally based on. So address these two parameters. I hope the new education policy in our country will bring sea changes in our education sector. So coming to the second part of my talk is about e-content. E-content, and here I will not be discussing about e-books. I will not be talking about various indexing and efficient databases. I just touch upon, broadly about what is e-resources and initiative of the ministry, especially MHRD and UGC and Internet. What are the steps which they have taken to cater to the requirements of the scholars and academia in our country? So basically, what are e-content is basically, resources which is being generated and being disseminated by using computer and networks. Basically, it has made the advancement of the ICT basically has made it possible to disseminate your content in electronic mode using your networks. So in this area, the publishers have made best use of the, bringing out their content in both the formats. There's both in print and electronic. There are different phases of the scholarly publications from where they have started from the first issue of the journal, which was published in 1535. Thereafter, the changes which have taken place globally, publishing industry is the one where they have made best use of this technology in disseminating knowledge, not in terms of the disseminating, but also in terms of the revenue which they are generating by selling this product electronically. So this is how generally, here I'm talking about e-resource in terms of the e-journals and scholarly publication. I'm not talking about as I said, e-books and other web resources. My focus here is only on e-content, which is about e-journals, and scholarly content, which is peer-reviewed journal indexed by two indexing tools, Web of Science and Scopus database. So if you look back, these scholarly journals, scholarly communication, how they have, what was the model, what was the format of this publication of the scholarly journals. And from 350 years, since 350 years, scholarly publication was, it was that scholars, what they used to do, scholar, when I say scholar here, I can say academicians, scientists, doctors, research lab, scientists and research lab. What they do is they are engaged in the research and bringing out discoveries and new knowledge. So what are the medium of the transmission and dissemination of this knowledge is basically in the term of journals. So in print environment, publisher used to compile all the articles, make it an issue, and then dispatch it after publishing it. So in digital environment now, what they do is they make one copy, keep it in their server, and make access facilities, open access to the university libraries across the world or scholars across the world. So format, how it is being published. What they do is, who contributes in scholarly journal? Scholars contribute, teachers contribute. What generally they get? They don't get anything except your CV gets updated. You don't get single penny out of the article which you publish it, and it is publisher who generates a lot of revenues while printing these journals. So this model was prevalent from the very beginning, and still it is prevalent. Same model is being used for printing and publishing of the scholarly journals, and primary aim of this publication, the mode of publication in form of the journal is to disseminate the knowledge. So, the format and model which I was sharing and talking about is, when I suppose I'm an author, if I publish an article, and I submit an article in the peer-reviewed journal, which is published by commercial publisher or society publisher, unless or until I get access, or I'm authorized to access the content, my own content, I won't be able to do it, or I have to, unless or until, if I have access, I can download my own article. If I don't have access to, I have to pay $35 per article. This is the model which is still prevalent. My own article is not. I'm not able to access unless I subscribe to those published those journals. So, as in 2010 there was a statistical report in 2010. The major publisher Elsevier, who is having major share of the global revenue in terms of selling these journals, and it has been told that there was a global recession. And even Apple, Amazon, these major branded companies in the world, they were going through the recession phase, and their revenue has gone down. But the Elsevier science has generated 40% of revenue profit during even this recession time. You can imagine this model, how much money they generate by printing these journals. And this was only the web has made it possible to generate these content in electronic format. So I can categorize this publishing trend into these categories. One is three categories. One is 1445 to 1945. It was rapid growth of publishing industry, and print was the medium at that point of time. And 1996 to 2004, when web was invented, at that time they have started making into digital content, made their entire content online, and they started selling both print and online. And now many publishers, they have stopped print and they are selling on the online model. And 2005 onwards, new kind of concept emerged, especially in areas of the open access. Now there are various formats of the open access. There are various mandates of open access, and which has encouraged many scientists. That the concept of open access is the content which is being generated out of the research fund by any government agencies, which was funded by any agencies. The findings of these contents or these articles should be made available in public domain, which should be freely available to everyone across the globe. So there are a lot of mandates which has come up during last 2 decades of time, and there are the survey. A recent survey was done by the Springer Nature. Springer Nature has made a survey about open access trend in global trend open access, and the finding of the survey was done in 2017, and survey indicated that they have surveyed 200 organizations where researchers were involved, where core researchers were involved, and they have involved all major university libraries across the world. Then there's a 70% they believe that open access is going to be the future, and 91% of university libraries, they also predicted that in 10 years of time, the content is going to be open access. Now there will be different format of open access, and there will be different models of open access. And recently, I've come across about the new format of the open access is by Annual Review. Annual Review publishes 51 reviews, which are considered top impact factor journals. So they decided to make it 5 journal open access, and there are different and unique way of making it open access. They are going to retain the print earlier subscription of the earlier their clients, and thereafter they are going to have some kind of model where they will give some kind of discount and they make the journal open. So in the areas of open access if we talk, then it started with the Budapest Declaration, then followed by various agencies like SPARC was one agency, Scholarly Publication and Academic Research Consortium, which was a consortium of scientists, and there was this MIT is the one which is leading institution in the world who is encouraging and propagating open access across the globe. 47%, I've come across an article, 47 of the articles published by MIT faculties are available in open access. And recently in this area, they have scrapped the deal with LZ-based science. They have decided not to contribute any new articles in new journals of LZ-based, which were published by LZ-based science. Similarly, there's a new development about the PE science. I'm sure people might have heard about it. They have mentioned that in 10 years of the time, science, the discoveries and scholarly articles published by the scientists should be made available open access, and science should be made available globally reachable in the form of the in open access. So various mandates are going on in India too. We certain institutions in our country, major CSIR labs, they have made the journal open access. So there are mandates going on. The reason behind open access, one thing is exorbitant cost of the subscription of the journals, and publishers they have their own monopoly to charge the libraries about these contents. So I'll come to the open access later part. I will show 3 or 4 slides. So who are the major scholarly publishers around the world? So there are 3 major publishers around the world. There are LZ-based Science, Springer, and Taylor & Francis. They have 42% of their chunk in who are publishing these journals. So now society publishes, as I listed, American Institute of Physics, American Physical Society, Royal Society of Chemistry. Some of the major society publishers, they are also bringing out core journals in their subject discipline. But the trend is that the major publishers, like commercial publishers, are gaining, and they are buying smaller journals content. And the society publishers are disappearing from this scenario. Clear example is that the Springer and Kluber was earlier one. They have become one. Kluber became part of the Springer. Secondly, the Nature recently, Nature was the independent publisher. Springer has purchased Springer Nature journal, and it has become Springer Nature. So there are major bigger publishers are buying some other publishers, and they are consolidating their own journals as a commercial publishers. So who are our other publishers who publish scholarly journals? There are university presses, like major presses. University presses are Cambridge University Press, Oxford University Press, Duke, MIT, and Stanford University Press. And aggregators, major aggregators who contribute in e-content are JSTOR and Project News, EBSCO, these are major aggregators. Then in terms of open access, DOAG is one which everyone is aware of. This is almost more than decades. These DOAGs there are more than 15,000 journals which are in there. Then SPARC, as I said, and Public Library of Science, this is mandate of the scientists, institutional repositories, and two sites which I would like to share with share today is about one is Library Genesis and Sci-Hub. These are very interesting sites. These are not ethical sites though, but it contains large number of the articles which both current as well as older issues of this library Genesis. This Sci-Hub. This Sci-Hub basically is is developed by a Kazakh lady who was working in US lab as a computer engineer. He didn't get the content or article which she was looking for. Then he decided to have some kind of system inbuilt where science concept is, she said, science should belong to scientists. So she developed this portal then where you can get all kind of new articles, which is now unethically. She has been facing a lot of litigation by the publishing world, but the public, librarians and users are getting benefit of from these open access sites. So what are the number of journal which is peer review journal which is there in the world, global publishers? So I have listed this slide from UGC list. UGC has constituted a consortium called CARE, who is a body to decide which journal should be considered as a peer review. So they have 14,000. The number of journals which Web of Sciences index is 14,449, and Scopus, which is bigger than Web of Science, this indexing databases, where they have indexed 39,000 plus journals in their database, and UGC has so this is because there are 54,000 index journals globally. So what are our contribution in these journals? How many articles we have contributed in this journal from India? What are our percentage? Who all are publishing in this world? Who is leading? So I just make few slides to share with you. So this is the number of articles, which is number of journals which is being published globally. So this growth of number of journals, number of researchers, number of articles, number of the journals. So there is a consistently it is increasing. So number of the articles published globally is 4% annually. So that means every year number of articles in these journals, 54,000 journals which have been listed, there is increase of the 4% of articles annually in these journals. Equally, then there are number of growth in the number of researchers. There's a 3% of growth in terms of the number of researchers who contribute in these journals. And where do we stand? As I said, there are three databases, three agencies which they have listed about world's contribution. I have taken the National Science Foundation of the USA, how they have ranked India and other countries in terms of number of publication in scholarly journals. So they say in 2018, India was ranked number 3, 5th, and 9th in scientific publication output. They were first, and NSF ranked India as number 3, and Scopus ranked India number 5 globally, and Science Citation Index has rated India 9th position globally in terms of the number of articles published in scientific journals. So this is, Influent always claims that when they launched the consortium, number of articles by Indian academia was very, very less. When consortium-based services were provided to the Indian universities and other engineering institutions, number of articles India's contribution in these journals have tremendously increased. But I don't believe in this logic, because it is no point if you have means large number of access means you can contribute more numbers of articles in scholarly journals. Basically, it is about research. Kind of research which they are engaged in. If they are engaged in more research, automatically there will be more articles in these scientific journals. It doesn't matter whether you have access to the global journals at your desktop. It is about thrust area, research area, number of researchers who are engaged, and they can contribute. They can contribute after the findings, whatever they have done in the research work. And in terms of the India's contribution globally, then we are contributing only 5.31. That will be still number 3 globally, but our contribution in terms of the percentage is only 5.31 globally. So who are those two countries who are contributing more than us? This slide indicates China is unbelievably he is number one in every sphere. See, number one is this is National Science Foundation's statistics 2018. So China contributes 20% globally, and followed by United States of America, who contributes 16.54%, and India, we contribute 135,788 articles. So we stand number 3, with 5.31% from our country, followed by Germany, Japan, UK, Russia, and Italy. So with 5. If you see China 20 and we are only 5.31. So how much China's research thrust, China's contribution in global scholarly journal is phenomenal. Now people say that there are language issues, but the thing is they contribute huge amount of the articles in global publications. So this is the reflection of the old slide. I'll just skip this. So what are the advantages? Just one slide. I will not spend much time on the what are the major features, but the thing is, advantage of the e-content is when we talk about scholarly journal and electronic journals. So I'll just major issues which is more important to share here is cross-step, DOI, and impact factor measurement. So these three issues which I consider are very, very interesting. Now your indexing database can be integrated to full text databases. So you don't need to go for indexing database like you have chemical abstract, you have MathSciNet, you have all kind of the chemical indexing databases. Now you don't need to refer to these things. Once even you search in Google, in Google Scholar, it has facility of linking and integration with your full text databases. DOI is a new concept which has given to each articles, which has unique number assigned to each articles, which facilitates for indexing of the articles, and a measurement of these articles contributed by the scholar. You can measure how many times it has been cited, who has cited, and what are the citation impact factor, and you can derive number of H index, and a lot of bibliometric studies can be made because there are tools that are available in electronic environment. So how do we access these? IP-based access, there are number of ways which can be accessed. Number one is IP-based. Most of the e-resources are accessible under IPs, and there are some databases, indexing databases where you have to have login. And NLIS is the one program which allows you to access by using login and password. And subscription model, now we have moved from individual subscription to consortium-based model. And there are a lot very institution-specific consortium in the country who are doing wonders, and SERA, DELCON, CSI, DRDO, and these are the major consortium in our country who is still providing content in this consortium mode. For university and IITs, we have now each person, which I will come in my latest slide. So the initiative of MHRD, UGC. So I'll just list it about what are the initiative of UGC. First thing, UGC has established internet, which is about basic concept, basic idea of internet was to resource sharing, pooling and sharing of the India's knowledge, which is spread across all over the country, and this was the basic mantra, and having a dedicated network to share and pool these resources. But in India too, recently our policymakers always said India should be a knowledge superpower. But what we have done in terms of our own content, Indian indigenous traditional content creation, but very less work have been done by funding agency in our country or by any government. You can say we have not done enough work in terms of the capturing or digitizing or creation of their own content in indigenous traditional knowledge. So most of these services which Internet has initiated is based on the content which someone has generated, and someone has, basically we are working as a mediator to facilitate the content which has been creation of someone else. And they have number of objectives. Short Sindhu is one now I will be talking about. and Shodh Ganga, Shodh Gangotri, EPG Parshala, and it's not. And recently, ever since the establishment of internet, I have witnessed that they have deviated certain objectives and left behind the core issues of the implement activities. For example, one is Union Catalog, which they claim that they have one crore unique record plus 2 crores holding data, and they spend now since its inception, Internet has been working on Union Catalog. It is almost more than now 20 years. Now they have Union Catalog, but what are the use of Union Catalog? We have not been used. No one has used Union Catalog services now. Recently, they have made a developed interface about how to search Union Catalog, who all are having those holdings. But our own content in vernacular language, no one has worked. Nobody has worked in India, and this is the time that someone should come forward and take initiatives. It's because India has 22 languages that were recognized by Constitution of India. No such databases available, standard databases available for 22 languages in the country. Only the Union Catalog consists of the transliteration for the content. Like both Telnet and Internet, they have Union Catalog, but they have translated form of the Union Catalog from various languages. So now they are more engaged in other services like which is not core issues of the library and networking of the activities of the internet, like Ek Bharat, Shresh Bharat, Atal Innovation Ranking, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So range of the program which they are either partners with other institutions or exclusively doing themselves. And NIF ranking also they are contributing it. So what I mean to share is, besides their own core issues about creation of the content in Indian languages, Indian institutions, they have expanded their activities by taking these these assignments, and in the process they have left behind their core issues like Union Catalog is one, and similarly one more issue which is about Indian Digital Library, which is now IIT Kharagpur is responsible for implementation. Internet could have done and could have taken this project because they had groundwork done. They have lot of efforts were made by Internet to capture the records from all over the country. And when it came to digitalization, the project has been given to IIT Kharagpur under NME program of MHRD. So this is a brief journey of Internet. I will not elaborate much. It was just simply it was established in 1996 as IUC of UGC. Before that, it was a part of project of the IUCA Pune. So major thrust was library automation training and all. And now initially Internet spent a lot of energy for software development and Union Catalog and training module. Now for last 2 decades. Ever since they have launched the consortium, UGC consortium, it was called UGC Infinite Digital Library Consortium. Major thrust, major energy they have put into implementation for these consortium services. Now, this was one of the good services which has transformed higher academic institution in the country. Librarians have got recognition because of this kind of services. The services has facilitated that whether you are staying in the mainstream city or whether you are staying in the Northeast or any other remote places of the country, they have initiated a program which gives you equal access and wider access to scholarly content. Now, I can even say that whether you are in Oxford University or whether you are in NIHU, they have equal number of the access to content which is required for the scholars for their research work. Now, this was one of the best program which has bring a lot of respect and visibility of the Internet program. But the focus now they should have given more focus on other activities too. Which I believe the Indian Catalog is one which is unattended for quite long. 142 universities were funded earlier by Internet. They have developed catalog only 142. Why only 142? And then they should have, as I said, there are 900 universities in the country. They should have Indian catalog of all 900 universities. Altogether, there are 40,000 institutions in the country, and there should be a catalog of the all 4,000 institutions, libraries catalog in one place where we should have, so that we can initiate the interlibrary loan based on these resources. So they have also into the e-content creation now. EPG Parshala is one program which Internet has done tremendous work, and this this is also in a new project which was not listed in the original objective of Internet. Right. So this is the brief about Internet. Now I'll come to the consortium. So consortium in India, it basically started in late 90s in all over India. Globally, then the publishers started bundling their content. There's a concept called big deal, where they used to sell all the content in making all the journals into one bundle and selling them to the consortium. So this was the new model of the subscriptions of e-resources after, especially last 15 years or more than 1 decade. So it has the reason for consortium-based e-access is because there was a concept called serial crisis. Serial crisis is because every year the publisher increase 7 to 10% of subscription costs of their of the channels. On the contrary, library budget was constantly getting shrinked. So the publisher used to increase 7 to 10% subscription costs every year, but libraries failed to generate their revenue, and they used to fail. They used to start getting less budget allocations. So this has reached at a state where every year there's a reduction of the serial subscription. Number of serials were being reduced from their subscription base. So this concept kept on. Then later on, this new kind of subscription-based model developed, and which is consortium-based subscription. So in India also, this was started in late 90s and early 20s, 2011, 12. Most of the institutions started talking about consortium-based subscription. So in this consortium was one which has 60 institutions in the country. They are basically IITs and IIMs. I am a member of this consortium. And UGC InfoNet Digital Library Consortium was for universities in India. There were 222 universities. We implemented this consortium in 3 different phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1, we had provided access to the core universities, and phase 2, less important universities. And phase 3 universities were perhaps specific universities, like where universities give more emphasis to their regional languages, like Urdu universities, Hindi universities, Marathi universities. There were 3 different phases. So other consortium was CSIR and DST consortium. It was called NKRS. Then DELCON is still prevalent. DELCON is about DVD consortium, which is still working. And SERA is agriculture consortium, which is still working. There are 130 agricultural universities in the country who are getting access to scholarly content under the SERA consortium. And DRDO is the consortium. ARMET is one which is subject-specific consortium. And this is a program called Access to the Colleges. Is a program where all the colleges in our country, which come under the Act of the UGC, are eligible to get the access under this program. So now, if you see the kind of consortium which was prevalent in our country in late 90s, so most of the consortium are based on subject-specific or under the kind of the subjects or funding agency basis. Like MHRD has funded to Internet for providing access to a university system. IIT and IIMs were given grant by AIEEE for their formed in this consortium. Similarly, CSI lab, all labs for CSI labs. And this ARMET consortium, medical libraries, it was a sort of cooperative consortium where all the members came together and decided to subscribe, their own by contributing their own fund. Other than these consortium, 99% of the fund is being provided by funding agency to sustain the consortium. But the big question here is about how to sustain the consortium. Now, I was talking about, recently I was talking about the number of kind of budget which Internet is spending for consortium. So I've been told that Internet is spending 170 crore annually for the subscription of the e-resources, and they have made a survey, and besides the consortium-based content, institutions are subscribing with their own resources from their own budget, and under that 232 crore are being spent for serial subscription in our country, which is a huge amount. And to sustain this model, and perhaps they have been facing problems in continuation of the subscription. So they demanded 500 crore from MHRD to sustain this model in the future. That means next financial year. the budget, when they get allocated 500 crores, then they would be able to subscribe and sustain this model. So I have big doubt about how to sustain such a big model. The reason is to annually such a big amount for subscription of the large number of general law, but usability is study, usage patterns, all this needs to be worked out, and we need to work out sort of hybrid kind of models where universities should get access according to their size or number of the students and number of faculties, or their subject emphasis. Where social science institution, where there are institutions where they are only running social science, like SNDT and Gokhale Institute of Pune. They are subject specific institutions where other resources are of no use. So we need to explore certain other models based on our own experience by implementing different consortium level. One thing is pay per module needs to be worked out, because at present, irrespective of the word whether we download or not, publishers are being paid based on number of universities, the number of institutions, right? So this is what we need to study, and different kind of models to be worked out. What I believe, because present consortium we have done almost now, it's more than 15 years since it has been implemented. So new model needs to be worked out. Two content which they have decided to provide access as a under national site licensing. They are one is South Asian Archives. Second content is World eBook Library. So these two content has been provided under national site licensing. Similar to that, we need to identify more content which can be considered as a national site licensing for all over the country, irrespective of सड़क में चलते वाले को भी मिल जाना चाहिए access. ऐसा नहीं कि only those who are in the university should have access to these contents. So there are two countries in the country which fall under this under national site licensing. So similarly, we need to work out, identify more contents which can be considered under national site licensing, identify more content which can be considered under the pay per view model, and other than that, if the IITs and IIMs, IITs and engineering colleges, they use effectively, there are no questions. But traditional universities in the country, I still believe that many of them are not aware of the services which internet has introduced. Now it is almost more than 15 years. Faculties are not aware what kind of resources they have access to. So under for such universities, they should work out a model which should be, I consider as a paper model, will be the best and suitable model for negotiation. So each was Sindhu is basically the merger of the three consortium. Before each was Sindhu, there were three consortium. One is Indus consortium for engineering college, IITs and NITs and IIMs. Second was Enlist consortium, which was meant for the colleges. And third is for UGC Informal Digital Library consortium, which is for access to e-resources to the universities. So these three consortium has been merged and has now been renamed as the each was Sindhu. This is basically a merger of these three consortium. So background of this, why ministry has decided to merge all this. They have worked out and found that 65% of the subscription is duplicate. If we study all consortium in the country, they are CSI consortium, DBT consortium, medical library consortium, they have engineering college consortium, they have so they studied all consortium and found that 65% of resources are duplicate in nature. And interesting thing is the UGC consortium, MHRD consortium, which is MHRD funding consortium, ImprovNet consortium, and AICT consortium. These two consortium have overlapping on 33% resources. So realizing that why to duplicate the subscription? Because if the same content is available in one consortium, why should we pay for the content which is available, which is being subscribed for another consortium? So whereas funding agency is same. MHRD is the funding agency which money gives to both AIEEE and UGC. So based on these statistics, they decided that to avoid the basic duplication of the subscription of this content, so UGC and MHRD decided that these should be merged. And its committee was established, and they decided that consortium should be merged. So now they have made only one consortium, which is called CHEERS, which is called as Each Was Sindhu, renamed as Each Was Sindhu. And now the thing is, now we have managed to, eliminate the duplication of the content which was accessible for these two or three consortium initially. Now, after merger, what about the kind of the access which needs to be studied and it needs to be debated? So the model consortium model of subscription is now publishers claim that that eligible publishes almost 2,700 journals. Under the consortium, they offer access to all 2017. Similarly, every publisher, there are around 23 major publishers which are partner in this consortium. All the journals are available to consortium under each of Sindhu. But the thing is, what are the titles which we require in India? Do we need Indian specific content? Science is okay. Science and engineering is it's global concept. But social science and humanities, the requirements are different. Tastes are different. Research thrusts are different. So we need to work out whether all the journals which Springer or Elsevier or Wiley or Taylor and Francis are giving under this consortium as a bundle. Suppose they say we have access to 10,000 journals. So out of 10,000, how many journals are being used? I remember, out of only 10% of journals are being used effectively. Rest 80 to 90% journals have never been touched. So these are not Indian specific. They are not at all. Some of the titles are Mexican specific. Some titles are Asian specific. Some titles are African specific. So we don't require all these titles which have nothing to do with for India. So it is simply claiming that we have access to all the publishers' content, and the rate of discount which they generally offer to the consortium-based models. So they offer, they say 90% discount, say 80% discount. But who determines the base price of the product? So there's no mechanism to check, what are the actual costs of the journals. And they say consortium have pricing model of consortium is, country specific. For USA, the rates are different. UK rates are different. In India, rates are different. But in FlipNet and India, when we introduced, we were not ready to have this kind of services because access was a big issue. We don't have nowadays access is not an issue. The bandwidth is not an issue now. But 15 years back, bandwidth was a major issue. Many institutions were not even having internet connectivity at that time. So now the service has been praised by academia, but the thing is, we introduced these services without preparing ourselves. But now, after getting this mature almost for 15 years, a study needs to be conducted to explore other kind of models so that cost can be further saved. I'm sure this by exercising this survey of elimination of duplicate. They might have certainly reduced the prices, which must be a good saving for national exchequer. But still, we could have further saved the money if we come out with the hybrid model of the consortium in the country, right? So, this slide is about merger of these consortium. As I said, first consortium but in FlipNet UGC be launched is about former president has launched this program, and UGC InfoNet is about connectivity. So as I was mentioning that we were not prepared to provide this kind of services to the user because connectivity was an issue. So under this UGC InfoNet program, universities were given connectivity free of cost. Arnet was an agency who was responsible for establishing dedicated connectivity to universities. Then later on in 2002. It was launched by our former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, from Science Bhavan in Delhi. So there were then three consortium got merged. One is about UGC InfoNet, which was launched in 2003. Then Indus Consortium was launched in 2004. And NLIS was introduced in 2010. So all these three consortium was merged into each of Sindhu. So what new things they have recently announced is last 2-3 years, they have opened this consortium to the associate membership. So earlier, those who are eligible to get an access, the UGC 12B Act of UGC was a parameter, and all IIT engineering colleges, and they were eligible. Now there were demand from other universities, private universities. That in India, we all know that there are a large number of universities now, private universities have established their own. So they have open consortium membership to others too as associate membership. But what are the parameters to be associate membership? One has to pay 10,000 rupees as the annual membership fee. And the content will not be free. Access to content will be, they have to pay the subscription cost. And what is the subscription cost? Encryptnet has negotiated the price of all the publishers' content and publish the rates on the website. So here the question about the rates is, it is possible that suppose I want to have access to one or X or Y publishers' content. If I negotiate myself, I may be able to get more discounts than whatever rates are already been fixed by Encryptnet, which is on the website. So it all depends upon why institution will agree to the rates which Encryptnet has negotiated. There's a question mark, because there could be possible that the rates they may get cheaper price. So, but once you become a member, the rate which they have fixed, Encryptnet has fixed, is to be paid by the member who has joined as an associate member. You won't be getting all the resources free, of course, under this category. Whatever resources you want to subscribe, you have to pay for a subscription, the rate which Encryptnet has decided. Right. So I'll not go into the details of who all are beneficiaries. As I say, broadly, there are universities and IITs, NITs, and centrally funded institutions under MHRD. They are eligible for access to this content, which is free, of course. Now, you never know about next year onwards, 2011-12 subscription. Now, they have, I think, submitted a proposal to MHRD. Earlier, the program was implemented by UGC. Now it has taken over by MHRD. So getting 500 crores from MHRD is a very big deal. It's a question I doubt. So sustainability of the consortium is a big issue in future for Encryptnet. Can they sustain? Can they retain the resources which universities now they have used to access? This is a big issue. So beneficiaries, I will skip it. Broadly, I said these are universities, IITs, and other institutions. Resources, resources. This is a slide about what are the resources which we get. We have all type of resources, full text databases and full text journals and databases also. These are the databases and full text resources. Aggregators product, university, society, all kinds of publishers content are available. Basically, the major chunk of the resources, which is globally required, which is globally required for researchers. eShort Sindhu has covered almost every journals, every publisher journal, except Sage. Sage is the one publisher which doesn't believe in consortium-based subscription. I don't know why. What is the reason? These are the databases. Okay, I'll just skip it. Now, this is a cost spent for subscription. Now, in 2016, they have spent 202 crores rupees. So it is increasing. 2019, they spent 32 crore rupees. So it is every year there's a cap of 7 to 10% enhancement. So sustainability is one issue for me for this consortium in future. This database code, they spend 34 crore rupees annually for databases. There are 8 or 9 databases. So okay, this was the brief about eShort Sindhu. Number of journals, coverage, cost factors, and models which we explore in the country. And so far it has worked, but in future it's really a question mark. Getting huge amount grant from MHRD and justify them. This is required in our country. So in addition to access to these e-resources from major publishers from the globe, so Encryptnet has their own content creation part. Is one thing is about eShort Sindhu. This is about PhD thesis submitted by various universities in the country. It has more than now 2.7 lakh theses in their databases. And we started this Encryptnet PhD thesis as a bibliographic database initially. Later on, they have released grant to all universities for digitizing of thesis, and they have issued a guidelines which has published as a gazette notification that all universities a copy of thesis should come to the PhD repository. this process really helped to improve the quality and enhance the number of PhD theses in the databases. So this is a good initiative, and in India, similarly, our PhD thesis globally there are a lot of projects going on. In India, basically, PhD thesis started with a project from Professor Shalini Urs in Mysore University, Vidyanidhi project. She got fund from for foundation, but she failed to implement this project. So it's good that now UGC implemented MHRD under this Sindhu program. They have captured good amount of the digital content in the form of PhD thesis, and which is available free of course. It can be accessible from their website. So eShod Gangotri is about PhD research project proposals. So this is ongoing project of research. This is about database. This is about bibliographical databases of the PhD registered of research scholars, detail of the PhD topic, which is ongoing project, which has not been submitted. It is not in digital form. It's ongoing research projects of the PhD program in universities. EPG Parshala is a program. It is funded by NMAST program of the MHRD, and they have developed a content of 70 topics and 77 subjects in the field of social science and humanities sciences. And these contents are now embedded with the SWAYAM program of the MHRD, and the contents will be available on SWAYAM platform. They have made it accessible from the internet website. These are the various research topics, and it's not in library science. I was surprised that there are a good number of the courses available. There are 300 plus courses, video lectures in various topics in our library discipline, which is available on EPG Parshala platform. eShod Shuddhi. Now they call Urkun is basically they call eShod Shuddhi. This is about detection of the plagiarism in universities. So this software is given to all universities through implement program, and it helps people to run and detect the plagiarism. Before Urkun, they have given another software that is called Turnitin. Now they decided to discontinue Turnitin and replace Turnitin with the Urkun software, and freely given to all universities in our country. And I think this is helpful for universities to run, especially about PhD thesis, and those who are writing PhD research articles, they can make use of this software to run plagiarism. Now, this is slightly about access to. I'll just go fast. Analyst program. Analyst program is access to e-content to colleges in our country. Then what are the mechanisms? Who are eligible? What are the things required to getting access to these content? One is, this is again eligible to all the colleges which come under the 12B Act of UGC, and they have to register. They have to submit the college profile. Once they're eligible, they have to give 5,000 annual subscription fee. Once they pay it, then they get all the resources which is available under this consortium. There are large number of resources. These are journals which is available for the colleges. Good content. I mean, it has content from science, social science, and engineering science. They have covered almost all subject disciplines. So one good thing is that JSTOR is available to the colleges, which is a very good product. They have Oxford University Press, which is good in social sciences. EBSCO hosts is a aggregated database, which has large number of content. So these are the good content which is available to the college. EPW is very popular. They have access to EPW under this program. And the e-books under analyst program to colleges, these are the e-books. Quite a good number. Kildare and Francis, they have 1,800 books. Cambridge University has 1,800 books. EBSCO hosts Net Library, they have 936. The e-library platform, which is an aggregated product, and it has more than 1,25,000 e-books. So it has books from various publishers' platform. It's a very good resource for the colleges, and they can explore it. I was talking about World eBook Library and this South Asia Archive. This is freely available to everyone in the country. Interlibrary loan services, which they have started long back. They have identified 26 universities and Ireland Center, and they have developed a portal of software and tool called JCC, which allows you to search and index all the content which is available in these universities. Once Suppose I want an article which is available in Madras University, I can just simply search and have a query by using this JCCC portal, and I will receive the response from the IIT Center under this program. It's a good initiative, and they have integrated around 6 libraries collection with open access journals, open access platform journals, and such interfaces has been developed to facilitate to find out which university is having what. So coming to this MHRD's initiative, the SWAYAM is, as we all are aware that SWAYAM has come out in a big way, and MHRD has also funded NDLI of IIT Kharagpur under NMS program. DLIS is a program which is by engineering IITs and engineering institutions in the country. They are developing video lectures and putting on the public domain, and virtual labs and talk with teachers and spoken tutorials. So there are a range of the program which MHRD has launched. So SWAYAM, as we all know, SWAYAM is a now global phenomenon, and before SWAYAM there was the EDX and Coursera of the two platforms, which was very, very popular. Similar to those two platforms, India has come out with our own platform called SWAYAM. It has capability to host 2,000 courses on this platform, and they have identified 8 national coordinators and national institutions to implement SWAYAM platform in the country. And if you have, I'm sure UGC might have sent you a letter about how to promote SWAYAM platform. Recently, they have identified 124 courses at SWAYAM platform, and these courses will be offered to the students in the university and colleges, and that is notification they have given published a gazette notification. They have agreed to give 20 credits for each courses for each semester. Right. So now, so what is the status of the SWAYAM? It is basically a platform where e-learning models have been encouraged, video lectures and posted, and there are two formats. One is a student or anyone who wants to learn. It's lifelong learning for education. Second option is about suppose someone wants to credit. Suppose someone wants credit, or for that he has to register and he has to give appear for the exams. So 2 formats, and there are 4 quadrants. I will not go into the detail about all these things, but the latest statistics which I want to show you is about the SWAYAM platform is there are 2, 8, 6, 7 courses available on SWAYAM platform, and for the latest month, current semester for 2020, January 2020, they have uploaded 5, 6, 8 courses which is available for registration to this SWAYAM platform. So good number of courses are available. And recently the survey was carried out. They claim that 6 courses of the SWAYAM platforms are registered in the top 10 courses, top 30 courses around the world. So what are these courses? Are academic writing is one course, digital marketing. So they say that this Class Central is an agency which is a free online course aggregator from top universities like Stanford and more. They have made a survey and come out that these 6 courses on the SWAYAM platform are listed on top 30 online courses. This is very, very good courses. Academic writing is a very interesting topic. Really interesting topic, and these 2 are very interesting topics. And they are figuring on top 30 courses around the world, across the world. Credit transfer, UGC has decided to transfer 20 credit for 1 semester for each courses. Right. Then one more interesting thing. Recently, there was a committee. These are the 8 coordinators of the national coordinators of various subject disciplines. Like, for example, engineering courses they have given to NPTEL. For postgraduate non-engineering courses they have given to UGC, and for CEC, who is responsible for undergraduate courses, so IGNOU is given for the certificate and diplomas. Similarly, school NIO and NIC has given responsible to schools. So they have 8 coordinators are responsible for generating, creation, and uploading of the various courses on SWAYAM platform. Right. So recent development on SWAYAM platform is about one is they have submitted constituted a committee to examine the SWAYAM. So what the committee has come out with some of the suggestions. Like now it will be available for 8 Indian languages. Earlier it was only in Hindi. Now 8 Indian languages is one thing. So they are going to convert Swayam platform into like a virtual university. So they are going to decide that Swayam should be considered as a university or should be degree awarding university. This was the recommendation. These two. Then number 3 is they have recommended that from 20 credit course to the credit course should be upgraded to 40 courses, 40% of courses. I hope UGC will going to announce this very soon. That students are eligible for 40 credit courses if they complete the courses by using Swayam platform, right? And one more interesting thing which they have announced is 100 universities can simply start online courses on using Swayam platform if these 100 universities are figuring in top 100 universities under the NIRF ranking. So if your universities are within 100 top universities and if they have marking of 3.01 or above by NAC accreditation, you are eligible to start courses on Swayam platform. So these are some of new development. Right. So similarly, they have UGC is responsible for PG courses, non-engineering PG courses, and UGC has recently announced that they have 82 UG courses and 42 PG courses are ready for this semester on using Swayam platform. And 135 universities have now accepted Swayam platform. They are engaged in designing and developing various modules of the courses, and the committee also recommended that they should be given, and 171 courses should be identified in the field of social science. They are history, political science. So the latest developments are going on every day. So I hope that in future this platform is going to be one of the best platform in the world. I can sure that I'm very much sure that we will be in a position to defeat the Coursera and edX platform of MOOCs. The way Government of India has given. NPTEL is about video lecture courses in engineering field. 7 IITs and 1 IISc Bangalore is engaged in this. They are responsible for development of these contents. National Digital Library is, as you all know, IIT Kharagpur is an agency which is implementing. They are going to make available all. Basically, the idea is to harvest all repositories in the country. And besides harvesting repositories in the country, what they have done is now, before National Digital Library, there was another project which was funded by Department of Information Technology, where large number of universities were given fund for digitization under Carnegie Millennium Project. So the content of the 5.5 crores content or books which have been digitized was not accessible. IISc Bangalore was given, it was hosted on IISc Bangalore, but later on, due to some copyright issue, they have discontinued it. Now, these 5.5 crores content, I've been told that now NDL will be responsible for hosting those 5.5 crore, but the quality of the content, scanner they have used, and the cleaning part they have done, this is an issue. But these 5.5 crore content will be available on, Indian content will be available on National Digital Library. So open access, as I said, we are going in a big way in open access. There are a lot of surveys, a lot of mandates. They claim that next 10 years or so, all scholarly content will be available in open access. But there will be different models. So it will be not free to all, but there will be some reasonable subscription has to be paid, but there will be different models. So the library genesis I want to share is, this is very interesting side, as I said, is unethical side. But here you get a lot of good books, latest books, and really interesting side. I recommend one to, if libraries have problem getting good content, this site allows you can find good contents, latest contents on this. Sci-Hub is another important site. This is about journal. If you have a DOI number, if you have the URL number of the journal which you do not access to, please just simply copy it on the site. I'm sure you will definitely find it. Open Door is another site where you will find out the directory of all open access repositories. Right? DOAJ is one important site which I want to share. This is one of the biggest open access sites, which is worth exploring. In India, so NISCARE, all journals are available on open access site. You can freely download all these contents. Similarly, Indian Academy of Science, they have published all the journal on their website, which is freely available. And Indian National Science Academy, they have also published, they have digitized all the contents freely available to public from their website. And B2 at Indian Institute of Advanced Study have decided and and digitize all our. We publish 2 journals. One is Study in Humanities and Social Sciences, and one is Summerhill. These 2 journals which we publish since 1992. All the journals have been digitized and it's available free of cost from our site. And we have also declared that it should be open access. And both the journals are listed in the UGC care. So this is the brief about, I've just gone, because there are a lot of content which need to be shared. So because of time, I'm sure I just have completed in 12:30. But I'm well on time. So I was just quick in ending up. I hope I have done justice. And I have followed the time schedule. It's 12:30, 1.5 hours exactly. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we can take up.
Thank you, Premchandji, for providing us a very complete, comprehensive, detailed, you can say, information about all the activities, services, and initiatives that are being executed by the institution and funded by MHRD and UGC. Thank you very much for your time and the complete information. Now I request Neha to please take over.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it was very informative and totally comprehensive one. So there are not many questions. There's just a single one. Currency of the initiative is questionable. All the initiatives that are being taken up by MHRD, like INDICAT, it is not updated. So how can we work towards it?
I fully agree with your question. I'm always concerned about INDICAT because I too was involved in INDICAT. I put a lot of effort in development of INDICAT. As I said, last 15 years we have been developing INDICAT. What is the result? An initial project was on 144 universities, which was funded by INFLIPNet. Why to restrict to 144? Number one, right? Then once you have made these resources ready, it's like as I always said, it's like your highway is ready, but on highway there is no गाड़ी to run. It's like same thing, आपने रखा हुआ उसको करना क्या है? I want a book from Tamil Nadu University. What is the mechanism? I want a book from Panjab University. Are you going to give the book? No. It's only there's some guidelines, some framework. Nobody will give the book under Interlibrarian. Then similarly, vernacular language is one. We have, as I said, 22 Indian languages. They have not put any effort to develop database of the Indian vernacular language. And we do talk about global knowledge, So we need to develop our own content. Indian content is to be human thrust. We spend much time in focusing about consortium, which is someone else's content. Indian content has to be there. Someone has to come out and prepare a guideline and framework to generate content and provide access to Indian content in a full text form, not in the bibliographic form. And Indian catalog is one thing which DLNet is effectively doing. Interlibrary law DLNet is very, very effective. If I want a book, DLNet immediately analyzes it. But what about the members of the INFLIPNet? We are 150 universities. How do I get a book from Panjab University? I will not get it unless until we have some understanding and framework. So I always raise the issue where I get it. So Indian catalog is one in India. It should be expensive. It should be as good as WorldCat. That all will come on all such features linking with your developed content. So simply just putting 2 or 3 staff on development of Indian catalog and updation is one issue. What about how do we develop a mechanism to update on daily basis? You keep adding books in libraries. But in case of interlibrary, in the we get data after 2 years, 3 years, which has so systems and some mechanism has to be developed to upgrade it and enhance it and make it usable.
Okay.
And manuscript is one. Manuscript database is one more thing. No one is talking about manuscript database. India ka rich culture kya hai? India ka knowledge is in the form of manuscript only. No agency in the country except IGNC has done. But besides IGNC in India, there are large number of institutions in the country. They have good number of manuscripts in the country. So those manuscripts needs to be preserved. It should be accessible to everyone in the country. So some kind of except these major commercial publishers' content, we should design and develop and make our Indian content available to everyone.
Hopefully, sir, we will work towards it. Let's see how it goes on further. Now, I would request Khushpreet sir to give a vote of thanks. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. On behalf of Department of Library and Information Science, Panjab University, and all the participants, I thank Prem, Librarian, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla, for accepting our invitation to deliver this wonderful talk. You have portrayed a very clear picture of history and present scenario of higher education in India. In the second part of the presentation, e-content and scholarly publishing with special focus on India's contribution in world scholarly publication was discussed. In the third part, the different initiatives of MHRD, Influenza and UGC were discussed. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful talk. I also thank the higher authorities of Panjab University, especially the worthy Vice Chancellor Professor Rajkumar ji, for permitting us to organize this second series of webinars on library and information science subject. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Preeti. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Premchand. Thank you for being here.
I am having a cup of 1990 batch, Panjab University.
Yes, that I could know. I could find out. I noticed it, in fact, earlier. That's great.
1991 batch.
Yeah. Salwa Jabri Union.
Thank you very much. Madam.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prem.
Thank you, Rupak. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shiv Kumar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.